Late night, luxury hospital. A young CEO, face pale as death, rushed on a gurney into the emergency room. She gripped a nurse's hand, whispering, "Wait, please, just make it fast. I don't want the pain." No doctor yet. Only a man in an old security jacket ran in. What happened? "Car crash?" The nurse answered, her voice tight with panic. He took off his jacket, covered her, voice calm and deep. "You'll be okay, I promise." As he held her hand, the lights revealed military medic numbers tattooed on his wrist. She saw them and froze. His name was Caleb Morgan, 38 years old, single father, night shift security guard at Aurora Medical Center. Every night, the same routine. Clock in at 10, walk the halls, check the doors, make sure everyone's safe. His dark brown skin showed the wear of long nights and longer years. But his eyes still held that steady calm of someone who'd seen worse and survived. His daughter Ella, 8 years old, 3rd grade, would sit in the hospital cafeteria doing homework, drawing pictures of hearts and stars, waiting for Dad to finish his shift at 6 in the morning. Her skin was a shade lighter than his. Her mother's complexion and her thick braids were always decorated with colorful beads that clicked when she moved. Most people didn't know Caleb's story. He used to be a combat medic, served 3 tours, saved more lives than he could count. His dark skin bore scars from shrapnel. His hands bore the steadiness of someone who'd stitched wounds under gunfire, who'd held dying soldiers and talked them through their last moments or their first moments of hope. But when his wife died in a car accident 5 years ago, everything changed. He left the military, took the security job, something quiet, something simple, something that let him be there for Ella, something that didn't require him to choose between duty and family ever again. No one at the hospital knew. To them, he was just the guy who held doors, the guy who helped push wheelchairs, the guy who brought water to patients when the nurses were busy. He never asked for thanks, never needed it. He just showed up, did the work, went home to his daughter. One rainy Thursday night, around 11:30, the radio crackled. "Incoming trauma. Car accident near downtown bridge. ETA 3 minutes." Caleb was near the ER entrance, checking the automatic doors that had been sticking lately. He heard the ambulance sirens before he saw the lights cutting through the rain. The doors burst open. Paramedics rushed in with a stretcher. A woman, mid-30s, designer clothes torn and bloody, her brown skin ashen and slick with rain and sweat, breathing shallow and rapid. Female, major impact, possible internal bleeding, BP dropping fast, 90/60 and falling. Caleb recognized her immediately. Everyone in the city would. Naomi Price, CEO of Price Tech Industries, youngest self-made billionaire in the state, known for being brilliant, ruthless, and ice-cold in business. Her face had been on magazine covers, her natural hair usually styled in an elegant twist, her dark eyes always sharp and calculating. She'd built an empire from nothing, crushed competitors without mercy, and never showed weakness. Now she looked small, fragile, afraid. The nurse looked panicked, her hands shaking as she tried to get a blood pressure reading. "Dr. Chen isn't here yet. He's stuck in traffic, accident on the highway." "No time." Caleb stepped forward. Years of training kicked in like muscle memory, like breathing. "Let me help." The nurse hesitated, looking at his security uniform. "You're just..." "I know what I'm doing. Trust me." His voice had that quality, that absolute certainty that made people listen, made them believe. He moved to Naomi's side, his movements efficient and sure. Checked her pulse, thready, weak. Checked her breathing, shallow, irregular. Started applying pressure to the bleeding on her arm, elevating it, assessing for other injuries with practiced hands. She opened her eyes slightly, confused scared. Her lips were dry, her pupils dilated, shock setting in. "Please." Her voice barely a whisper, cracking with pain. "Just make it fast. I don't want the pain." Caleb locked eyes with her, firm, calm, the way he used to talk to soldiers on the battlefield when mortars were falling and the world was ending. "Not tonight, ma'am. You're going to see the sunrise." Something in his voice made her believe him, made her want to believe him. Her hand reached out, trembling violently. He took it, held it tight, warm and steady. "Stay with me. Focus on my voice. You're safe now. I've got you." He worked quickly, stabilized her, kept her conscious, talked to her the whole time. His hands moved with the confidence of someone who'd done this 100 times in worse conditions. "What's your name?" "Naomi." Her voice was fading, eyes starting to roll back. "Okay, Naomi, I'm Caleb. You were in an accident, but you're going to be fine. The doctor's on his way. Just keep breathing with me. In and out. That's it. Stay with me." He checked her abdomen for swelling, looked for signs of internal bleeding, monitored her pulse, kept talking, kept her focused on his voice instead of the pain. When Dr. Chen finally arrived 7 minutes later, Naomi was stable. The doctor, an older Asian man with gray at his temples, looked at Caleb, then at the monitors, then back at Caleb with surprise and respect. "You did this?" "Just kept her steady, Doc." "You saved her life. Where'd you learn?" "Long time ago. She's all yours now." Caleb stepped back, let the medical team take over. As they wheeled Naomi toward surgery, she turned her head slightly, using what little strength she had left to look for him. Their eyes met one last time across the bright ER lights. She mouthed 2 words. "Thank you." He nodded, then disappeared back into the hallway shadows. Just another night shift. Just another life. Saved. Nothing special. Nothing worth mentioning. Ella was waiting in the cafeteria, coloring a picture of a superhero with a cape and a stethoscope. "Dad, look what I drew." Caleb smiled, ruffled her hair, her thick braids bouncing under his touch, beads clicking softly. "It's perfect, sweetheart. Let's go home." He never mentioned what happened. Heroes don't need headlines. The next morning, Naomi woke up in a private room on the hospital's top floor. Stitches on her arm, bandages wrapped around her ribs, head pounding like someone was using a hammer inside her skull, but alive, breathing, existing. Sunlight poured through the window, just like he said. She remembered fragments. The crash, the steering wheel not responding, the tree coming at her, the pain like fire, the voice. Strong hands holding hers, warm and steady and sure. "You're going to see the sunrise." Who was that man? Why did his voice make her feel safe when she hadn't felt safe in years? A nurse came in to check her vitals. A young black woman with kind eyes. "Excuse me." Naomi's voice was hoarse, raw from the breathing tube during surgery. "Last night, there was a man who helped me before the doctor arrived." The nurse smiled. "Oh, you mean Caleb, the security guard?" "Yeah, he was amazing. Kept you stable until Dr. Chen got here. You're lucky he was there." Security guard? Naomi's mind raced, trying to process. She was saved by a security guard, not a doctor, not a specialist, a security guard. Where is he now? Probably at home. His shift ended at 6. He's got a little girl, so he goes straight home to get her ready for school. Later that morning, Naomi's assistant Daniel Vaughn rushed in with her phone, tablet, and a worried expression. His brown skin was flushed with concern, his usually perfect suit slightly rumpled. "Miss Price, thank God you're okay. The board is asking questions. The media wants a statement. They know about the accident. It's all over the news. Naomi sat up slowly, wincing at the sharp pain in her ribs. What are they saying? Just that you were in a single-car crash. They want to know if you were alone, if anyone else was involved, if there was alcohol involved, if you were on your phone. Daniel hesitated, scrolling through his tablet. And some reporters are asking who saved you. They got wind that someone helped before the ambulance arrived. Naomi looked out the window at the city below, all glass and steel and judgment. Tell them the medical team handled everything professionally. Should we mention the security guard? I heard he basically, no. Her voice was sharp, automatic, the CEO voice that ended discussions. No names, no unnecessary attention. We don't need complications. Daniel nodded and left, but his expression said he disagreed. Something felt wrong. She couldn't explain it. A tightness in her chest that wasn't from the accident. Around noon, Caleb returned for his next shift. He was walking past her floor when a young nurse named Tara stopped him, her dark eyes bright with excitement. Hey, Caleb, Miss Price was asking about you this morning. She wanted to know who you were. He paused, adjusting his security belt. Is she okay? Yeah, she's fine. Doing great, actually. You should go say hi. She probably wants to thank you. Caleb shook his head. I'm sure she's busy. I've got rounds to do. But as he turned the corner, he saw her. Naomi was standing near the elevator, leaning on a crutch, talking to her assistant. She was wearing an expensive hospital gown, and her natural hair was pulled back in a simple bun. Their eyes met. She looked surprised, then something else. Uncomfortable, caught. Daniel whispered something to her, urgent and low. She nodded slowly. Caleb started to walk away, but she called out, Wait, you're Caleb, right? He stopped, turned around, his expression neutral and professional. Yes, ma'am. She limped closer, wincing with each step. Daniel stayed behind, watching like a guardian. I wanted to thank you for last night. Just doing my job, ma'am. His voice was polite but distant. There was an awkward silence. Then Daniel stepped forward, speaking quietly but not quietly enough, his tone protective. Miss Price, the PR team said it's better if we don't create a narrative around this. You know how media twists things. A security guard saving the CEO, they'll make it into some kind of story. Naomi hesitated, and Caleb saw the war in her eyes. Then her face hardened, the walls going back up. She looked at Caleb directly. I appreciate what you did, but I'd prefer if you kept last night between us. I don't need rumors or attention. I'm sure you understand. Caleb's expression didn't change, didn't flinch. Wasn't planning to talk about it. Good. I don't like owing people. The words came out colder than she intended. He looked at her for a long moment. Something in his eyes made her feel small, made her feel like he could see right through the armor to the fear underneath. Then don't, ma'am. Just live better. He turned and walked away, his footsteps steady and sure on the polished floor. Naomi stood there, frozen. That sentence hit harder than the crash, harder than the tree, harder than anything had hit her in years. Daniel cleared his throat. Miss Price, your car's waiting. We should go. She didn't move, watching Caleb disappear down the hallway, watching the one person who'd saved her life walk away like she was nothing. Later that afternoon, a young nurse named Tara found Caleb in the break room, sitting alone with a cup of coffee and a sandwich he wasn't eating. Her dark eyes flashed with indignation. That was cold, what she said to you. Really cold. Caleb sipped his coffee, staring at the wall. It's fine. It's not fine. You saved her life. You literally saved her life. And she basically told you to pretend it didn't happen. Real help doesn't need headlines, Tara. Doesn't need thank you cards or press conferences. Tara shook her head, braids swinging. You're too good for this place. Too good for people like her. Caleb smiled softly. Nah, this place is exactly where I need to be. That evening, as Caleb was about to leave, he saw Ella running toward him from the cafeteria, her braids flying behind her, beads clicking like tiny bells. Dad! Dad! Guess what? She crashed into his arms, breathless and excited, her school backpack bouncing. What, kiddo? My teacher said Miss Price's company donated a whole new computer lab to our school. Isn't that amazing? We get tablets and everything, and new books and art supplies. Caleb looked up through the hospital's glass doors. He could see a black car pulling away, sleek and expensive. Naomi sat in the back seat, staring out the window. Their eyes met one last time across the distance. She looked away first. Ella tugged his sleeve. Dad, do you think she's a good person? Caleb watched the car disappear into traffic, into the city. I think she pays her debts differently. Ella tilted her head, confused. What does that mean? He picked her up, felt her small arms wrap around his neck. It means people show gratitude in their own way. Sometimes with words, sometimes with actions. Sometimes they just need time to figure out which one matters more. Ella hugged his neck tight. I think words and actions both matter. Mrs. Rodriguez says integrity means doing both. Caleb smiled. You're smarter than most adults, you know that. As they walked to the parking lot, Caleb didn't look back. He didn't need to. He'd done his job, saved a life. That was enough. That had to be enough. But somewhere deep down, a small part of him wondered if she'd remember him when the bandages came off, or if he'd just be another face she forgot. 1 month later, Aurora Medical Center was hosting its annual charity gala. The main sponsor, the Bright Horizon Initiative, Naomi's family charity organization. The event was massive. Politicians, doctors, wealthy donors, media everywhere. The kind of event where a security guard's yearly salary wouldn't cover a single table. Caleb was assigned to security detail in the main hall. Standard protocol. Check badges, watch the exits, stay invisible. Be present, but not seen. He stood near the back wall in his uniform, watching the crowd mingle with champagne glasses and fake smiles and conversations about money that meant nothing to them, but everything to people like him. Then she walked in. Naomi Price, wearing a midnight blue gown that probably cost more than his car, her natural hair styled in an elegant crown of twists, her dark skin glowing under the chandeliers. Confident, powerful, every inch the CEO the world knew. The woman who'd almost died in his arms looked nothing like the woman who now commanded the room. She didn't see him. Why would she? He was just part of the background, part of the furniture. The event began. Speeches about healthcare access, donations announced, applause echoing through the marble hall like thunder. When Naomi stepped onto the stage, the room erupted. She smiled, waved, began her speech with the polished confidence of someone who'd given 1,000 speeches. Tonight we celebrate the incredible work of Aurora Medical Center, a place that saves lives every single day. The Bright Horizon Initiative is proud to pledge $5 million toward expanding emergency care services. Caleb listened quietly, professional, detached. Then the lights flickered, once, twice. The fire alarm blared, piercing and urgent. Confusion rippled through the crowd. People looked around nervously. A voice shouted from the left side of the hall. "Someone collapsed. We need help. Please, someone help." Panic started to spread like wildfire. Caleb didn't hesitate. He moved through the crowd like water through cracks. Fast, focused, purposeful. An elderly black man, maybe 70, was on the floor. Face ashen, lips turning blue, not breathing. People were backing away like death was contagious. Someone screamed for a doctor. Caleb dropped to his knees, checked the airway, checked for a pulse. Nothing. His training kicked in. Automatic, muscle memory. He tilted the man's head back, started chest compressions. Hard and fast. 30 pumps, 2 rescue breaths. Repeat. "Someone call 911, now." A security colleague radioed for help. Caleb kept going. Compressions, breaths, compressions, breaths. 15 seconds, 30, 45. Come on, sir. Stay with me." The man gasped, coughed, eyes fluttered open. The crowd exhaled collectively. Caleb stayed calm. "Sir, stay still. Help is coming. You're okay now." The man gripped his hand, tears in his eyes. "Thank you. Thank you." Paramedics rushed in moments later, took over, loaded the man onto a stretcher. Caleb stood up, brushing off his knees, ready to fade back into the shadows. But then he felt it. Eyes on him. He looked up. Naomi was standing at the edge of the stage, frozen, staring at him. She'd seen everything. The way he moved, the precision, the calm under pressure. This wasn't just a security guard. Her assistant Daniel leaned over, whispering urgently. She ignored him. She couldn't stop staring. After the event, Naomi went straight to the hospital's HR office. "I need the personnel file for Caleb Morgan, security staff." The HR manager hesitated. "Miss Price, I'm not sure I can." "Now, please." 5 minutes later, she was sitting in a conference room, reading. Name, Caleb Morgan, age 38. Position, night security guard. Previous employment, U.S. Army Combat Medic, 2009-2019. Decorations, Silver Cross for Valor, Purple Heart, Army Commendation Medal. Discharge reason, honorable family hardship. Emergency contact, Ella Morgan, daughter, age 8. There were photos attached. Caleb in uniform, younger, medals on his chest, eyes sharper, harder. She scrolled to a scanned newspaper clipping from 2017. Headline: Medic saves 23 soldiers during ambush, awarded Silver Cross. The article detailed how Caleb had run through enemy fire multiple times to drag wounded soldiers to safety. How he'd performed field surgeries under impossible conditions. How he'd refused to leave until every single person was evacuated. Naomi put her hand over her mouth. This man, this hero, was working night shifts as a security guard. And she'd told him to stay quiet, to stay invisible. She closed the file, sat in silence. Then she made a decision. The next day, Naomi called a press conference. Unannounced, unplanned. Her PR team was frantic. "Miss Price, what's this about? We didn't prepare talking points." "I don't need talking points." The conference room filled with journalists, cameras, microphones. Naomi walked to the podium. No notes, no script. She took a breath. "Last month, I was in a car accident. I nearly died." The room went silent. The person who saved my life wasn't a surgeon, wasn't a paramedic, wasn't someone with a fancy title. She paused. It was a father, a single dad working the night shift as a hospital security guard. Whispers spread through the room. His name is Caleb Morgan, and I need to tell you who he really is. At that exact moment, Caleb was in the hospital cafeteria with Ella, helping her with math homework. His phone buzzed. A co-worker's text. "Dude, turn on the TV. Now." Confused, Caleb looked up at the cafeteria television. His face went pale. There was Naomi on every news channel, talking about him. Caleb Morgan is a decorated combat medic. He served 3 tours, saved dozens of lives under fire, earned the Silver Cross for valor. The camera flashed to his military photo on the screen. Ella gasped. "Dad, that's you." Caleb couldn't move. Naomi continued, her voice cracking. "When I asked him to stay quiet about saving me, I didn't know. I didn't know who he was, what he'd sacrificed." She looked directly into the camera. "Caleb Morgan, if you're watching, please stand up." Caleb's co-workers were staring at him. Other people turned around. He shook his head. "I don't need this." But Ella tugged his sleeve. "Dad, she's trying to say thank you." On the screen, Naomi's eyes were wet. "He reminded me that leadership isn't about power, it's about service. It's about showing up when no one's watching. It's about doing the right thing, even when there's no reward." The press conference room erupted in applause. "Caleb Morgan is the kind of person this world needs more of, and I was too blind to see it." She stepped back from the podium. In the cafeteria, Caleb sat frozen. People were clapping. Someone patted his shoulder. Ella hugged him tight. He looked at the screen. Naomi was leaving the podium, but she paused, looked at the camera, and mouthed, "I'm sorry." Caleb exhaled slowly. Maybe some people do learn. After the press conference, everything changed. Caleb received calls, interview requests, job offers offering triple his salary. He declined them all. But one offer he couldn't refuse. The Bright Horizon Initiative invited him to become their safety and medical preparedness advisor. Part-time, flexible hours, good pay. And he could still be there for Ella. 3 days later, Naomi came to the hospital. She found him in the security office. She knocked softly. He looked up. "Miss Price." "Naomi, please." He nodded. "Naomi." She stepped inside. "I wanted to apologize, properly, not on camera, just to you." Caleb leaned back. "You already did that publicly. That was for the world. This is for you." She sat down. "I was wrong about you. You just didn't see clearly. Why didn't you tell me that you were a medic?" Caleb smiled faintly. "Heroes are the ones who don't come home. I'm just a guy who got lucky." Naomi's throat tightened. "That's not true." "It's true enough." Silence settled between them. Finally, Naomi spoke. "The advisor position. Will you take it?" "Ella needs stability. If this helps, yeah." Naomi smiled. "Good, because we need you." Over the next few weeks, Caleb and Naomi worked together often. They talked. She learned about his wife, the accident, how he blamed himself. He learned about her father, the pressure, how she built walls to survive. One afternoon, Naomi was at the hospital's park reviewing plans. She heard laughter. Ella was on the swings, playing with another child who'd scraped her knee. Ella pulled a bandage from her pocket, applying it like a professional. "There, all better." Naomi walked over, smiling. "You're a little medic too." Ella looked up. "Dad says helping people is our family business." Naomi laughed, a real laugh. Ella tilted her head. "Are you the lady from TV? The one my dad saved?" "Yes." "Good. He needed someone to save." Naomi's heart broke a little. She reached into her bag, pulled out a silver bracelet. "I brought this for you." Ella's eyes widened. The bracelet had an engraving. "Be brave, little healer." "For me?" "For you. Because you're going to save a lot of people someday." Ella hugged her, sudden, tight. Naomi froze, then hugged back. That evening, Caleb found an envelope under his door. Inside, a letter. "Caleb, you saved me twice. Once from death, once from myself. I don't know how to repay that, but I'm trying to be better because of you. Thank you. Naomi." Caleb read it, folded it, put it in his pocket. He looked at the city lights. Some people come like storms, others like sunrise. He wasn't sure which he was, but he was willing to find out. 1 year later, the morning arrived cold but clear. The Bright Horizon Initiative was opening the Morgan Center for Community Healing, a medical facility offering free health care, mental health services, and veteran support. Everything Caleb had dreamed of. The grand opening drew hundreds. News cameras lined the street. Veterans stood, together, some with tears. Naomi stood at the podium in a simple gray suit. "A year ago, I almost died," she began. "The man who saved me wasn't a surgeon. He wasn't famous. He was just good." She looked to the side. "Caleb Morgan, please come up." Caleb stood in the back. Ella pushed him forward. "Dad, go." He walked to the microphone. "I'm not used to microphones," he said quietly. "I'm better with heartbeats." The crowd chuckled. But healing isn't just for the wounded. It's for everyone who still cares enough to treat them. He looked at Naomi. "We all carry pain. The question is, what do we do with it? Build walls or build bridges?" Ella stood in front, clutching her bracelet. "I chose bridges," Caleb said, "and I hope you will too." Applause started slow, then built. Ella ran onto the stage with a drawing. Caleb kneeling beside a woman, his jacket covering her, a heart between them. Dad giving jacket to lady, heart shining. The crowd melted. Naomi stepped forward with a box. Inside was a custom medal, engraved, "Please don't make it fast. Stay." Caleb's breath caught. Naomi's voice trembled. "You told me I'd see the sunrise. I've seen 1,000 since. Every one because of you." She pinned the medal to his chest. "Don't leave. Don't fade. The world needs people like you. I need people like you." He looked at her. The ice was gone. She was free. "Guess some pain's worth feeling," he said. Naomi smiled through tears. "Yeah, it really is." The crowd erupted, but Caleb only saw 3 things: Ella beaming, Naomi free, and the sunrise breaking golden through the windows. The camera pulled back. A father, a daughter, a woman learning to be human, fade to black. Heroes don't move on from saving. They just find new reasons to keep doing it. Subscribe if you believe compassion is the quietest form of strength. Type sunrise if this story moved you.